Welcome back, friend. Thank you so much for joining us once again right here on the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast. Your listenership means so much to us. You know, if you didn't listen, it would just be some strange guy talking to a microphone for no reason. So I appreciate the fact that you've tuned your ears, you've invested your time. This is, as I mentioned, the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast. It's a ministry of Bible Tracts Incorporated. Now, we're based out of, I guess, technically, currently Bloomington, Illinois, but very soon, some of you have heard about a geographical move. It's only about 50 minutes north, right up I-55 to Odell. And I have someone in the studio that's done a lot of work on that brand new building, and I'm thankful for the work he has done. I have with me my brother-in-law, lead designer, operations manager for BTI, Brother Austin Merriott. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Good morning. Glad to be here today.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the topic of our discussions today. We've got a lot to get through over the next couple of days and the next few days, really. I'm excited for you to be listening in. Yesterday, we spent a lot of time talking about a specific gospel tract, the Warrior Gospel Tract. And if you missed that broadcast, you can go back on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen, and you can find the archived versions of that broadcast, and you can listen in and find out what you missed. But today, you're not going to want to miss what we talk about starting today. You see, Brother Austin is adopted, but that means different things to different folks, and I'm excited for you to hear what the perception, what the point of view that Brother Austin Merriott brings to that discussion. If you know someone that is adopted and you think what we talk about today might be a blessing, go ahead and grab them, bring them in the room, tell them about the broadcast, send them a text, tell them to tune into the radio right now, but maybe find the archived version at the close of the broadcast and share it with someone. Send a YouTube link or something like that. I truly believe that what you hear today will be an encouragement. Brother Austin and I were talking about how do we tackle this thing. It's a little bit of an elephant of a story, meaning it's just filled with the goodness of God. It just all over it, the grace of God. It's absolutely amazing to hear how God works. And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the tip of the elephant's trunk. We're going to start at the beginning and go all the way through. You're not going to want to miss any portion of this. This is probably going to be more than a 3, 4, 5, 6 day broadcast. It might spill over into next week. Regardless, though, I'd like you to tune in every chance you get. If you're not a faithful listener to the Bible Tract Echoes radio broadcast, become one just for the next 2 weeks or so. I think you will like it. So, Brother Austin, if you would, maybe start with what you do right now at BTI, just to kind of give people an idea of why are you behind the microphone? Of course, you're my brother-in-law and all of those things, but how are you at BTI? I should say, what do you do at BTI? Because we can get to how you got there later. And then let's start at the beginning.
Okay. So what I do at BTI, I do a lot of different things. I wear many different hats. I'm excited to be a part of the ministry. I fulfill orders at times. I handle all of the intake of orders and deal with fulfillment, track inventory, making sure we have the tracks, getting them ordered, getting them printed, making sure we have stock for the orders that come in from many of you listeners order tracks from us, and we appreciate that. And I deal with all of that. I handle all of the financial aspect of the ministry and deal with our accountants and things. And I'm very thankful to have those individuals who are smarter than I in different areas on board to help me with that. But we deal with all of those things, make sure the bills keep paid, keep the lights on, those types of things. And then we deal with the custom side of things. So if a church or an individual wants a customized track, maybe they want their specific information on the back, contact information for their church, things like that. I handle laying those out, designing that. If a church has a specific track that they like, or even an individual, Pastor Paul Perucci. He had a track for his life story, and we laid that out, designed that for him, and printed it for him. We printed about 10,000 of those.
And if you're curious about that one, it's called Freedom in Forgiveness. You can actually order that at
Stole
Bible
my
Tracts.
thunder.
I apologize. I'll let you go.
Interjecting.
Interrupting, more like.
Yes. No, so I was getting there. So he had contacted us, told us that he had a significant life story, which he does, how God just transformed his life. He wanted to put it into a tract form, and so we took that content, we designed it for him, printed about 10,000 tracts for him in a sister church that wanted it. As we were doing that, Brother Mike and I were looking at it, reading through it, getting to know Pastor Paul even more, and really just talk through it, said, hey, this needs to be in our lineup. This needs to be one of our tracks that we produce, mass produce, and get out there. And so, yes, you can order it at BibleTractsInc.org and order Freedom in Forgiveness.
And not to get too far ahead, and I will. This isn't more of an interjection this time. For a gentleman that is listening probably right now, Brother Steve Taylor up in Wisconsin, we have a new track coming of yours in the near future.
That one's gonna be amazing.
I don't know that we have. I don't think we have a title for it. Yeah,
I don't think so. But I
we're
just
still working on that.
Reading through it is just.
So you say, why are you telling me about it if I
story.
can't order it yet? Well, just to get your appetite wet just a little bit. In the future, Brother Taylor is a medical doctor, and he has just a phenomenal account of, again, God's grace, God's goodness. We've been dealing with some paper shortage issues. Speaking of hats that you wear, investigator for finding paper is one of the things that we try to do. But I'm excited about that one. So just another example of a new track that's going to be coming to the lineup very soon.
Yeah, that one's going to be excellent as well. Another, I feel, much needed, and just a phenomenal story of a young man trusting Christ, and how you too could trust Christ. It's just that one's going to be great. So I deal with that with the custom side of tracks. I also, when we took over, updating all the different titles, just getting them current, and getting the designs just where they needed to be for the times. And so we're excited about that, and getting close to the end of all of them being updated, and now we're starting to look at the ones that we did and reevaluate, are they really how we want them, and starting to change some of those as well. So I do all the graphic design work there at Bible Tracts Incorporated. And then also, really, like Brother McCurry said, one of the things that I try to really labor over is just trying to be financially conscious. And it's not just to save money. The way that I look at it, the reason that I am so particular about it is, and how can we save every dollar possible in any and every area, like sourcing paper, not just accepting a price that a printer gives, but really digging into the bid and trying to get the best price possible. Because I view it as every penny that we save is legitimately many times one more track that we can print. Mm-hmm. And being able to save thousands and thousands of dollars has turned around into being able to print tens of thousands and thousands of tracks. And so I'm very thankful that God has enabled us in that aspect to really be able to look at it and evaluate things. And that's just been just a neat aspect. Laborious, yes, but I feel worth it because of the potential of the future printing and whatnot.
And on that note, we haven't stopped looking for ways to save God's people's money. It's amazing the amount of money and different things that we were able to, and also it goes to efficiency, because that is dollars and cents too. It means less labor, all of those things, but it's amazing. We're about more than 2 years into it now, and we may well have found another avenue of saving some money here in the near future, implementing some different things. So for those of you that do invest in our ministry, those of you that do donate, I want to say thank you so much, but I want you to understand how much of a responsibility we feel, and how we're stewards.
The weight of that.
Absolutely. We're stewards of God's money, but God's people's money. There are many ministries, and there's many I could recommend to you that you could give towards, but those of you that do give towards our ministry, we take that very seriously. And we want to thank you for that. And Brother Austin said it so truly, that we take again, weight, that's a great word. It's a weighty thing to be entrusted with your money. I want to thank you, each and every one of you that does give towards our ministry. And I'm excited about what the future holds on that front as well.
So those are many of the different hats that I wear there at Bible Tracts. As we were mentioned yesterday, if you were tuned in, I'm also the youth pastor at our church here at First Baptist in Dwight, Illinois. I've been here almost 8 years now. This year, actually, Brother McCurry, is my 20th year in ministry. Going to be turning 36, and if you do the math, yes, I was very, very, very young, but started working at church at the age of 16, and we'll get into that history in just a moment. But God has been so good, and I'm just so blessed to be able to serve Him with my life. Is just an absolute honor and a privilege.
Amen. If you can, I know we haven't even got into the adoption aspects of the story. Can you give people, maybe get on your movie trailer voice, and here's what's coming up. Could you give us, in the limited time we have left today, give people like that 1-minute trailer, the preview, not even necessarily highlights, but just say, this is what you need to be tuning in for the rest of this weekend next. Tell people why they should tune back in tomorrow to hear this story.
Like Brother McCurry said, my story is probably properly described as an elephant because there's just so much to it. And it's incredible to me, as you'll hear in the next coming days, how God's hand is woven through my life. And I am no one special. I'm no one unique. And I believe that with all my heart. The things that you'll hear over the next few days, I believe, hopefully will draw you closer to the Lord, to understand His love for us. But also, one of the things that as I finish my story, when I tell it to different people, I always say this, and I believe this 100% with all my heart, that my story may sound spectacular, may sound extraordinary, may sound unique, but I don't believe that it is. I believe that every single person on this earth has a similar story. You just may not know it. And you may not know it until you reach heaven someday and get to see things from God's perspective. For some reason, God allowed me to see my story from His perspective. And it has blown my mind how good He is, how loving He is, how His hand will guide in ways that the individuals involved never could have even seen it. One of the ways my story is described by a very godly elderly lady is it's a God story. And I believe that with all my heart. And you'll have to tune in tomorrow to begin to hear the God story.
Amen. Now, knowing so many of our listeners, that piqued your interest. That whet your appetite. You're like, okay, I'm going to have to be here tomorrow. I'm going to have to hear this. And so well put, a God story. Where we think of, like the word history, His story. To know that He has been in, through, over, and just all about each and every one of us. He loves you. He loves me. And I want you to hear tomorrow a reflection of how much He loves you by hearing Austin's story. Don't miss. Have a great day for His glory, and God bless.
Thank you for joining us today for Bible Tract Echoes, a ministry of Bible Tracts Incorporated. If you would like to receive a free sample packet of all of our tracts, you can contact us by calling 309-828-6888. That's 309-828-6888. Our mailing address is P.O. Box 188, Bloomington, Illinois, 61702. A faster way to contact us is to go to our website at BibleTractsInc.org. That's BibleTractsInc.org. There you will find more information about our ministry and details on how you can support Bible Tracts Incorporated. Thanks for listening, and may the Lord richly bless you as you serve Him.